zReportage.com issue number 1026 story of the week, ICE Faces. Pictures by award-winning ZUMA press photojournalists, Carol Guzzi, Dave Decker, Chris Rehar, Tom Hudson, Ringo Chu, Jonathan Alcorn, Michael Brochstein, Scott MC Kiernan, Charles McClintock Wilson, Krista Kennel, Daniel Powell, Amy Katz, M. Scott Brower, Milo Hess, Garwam Kauchaki, Derek French, Carlos Chiosone, Riley Harty, Pat Vasquez Cunningham, and from Douglas at Clifford Tampa Bay Times, Elizabeth Flores TNS and Christopher Kazarev CP. A year into his second term, President Trump's pledge to stage the largest deportation operation in American history targeting the more than 10 million unauthorized migrants living in the U.S. has already made an indelible mark on the nation. The fatal shootings of Renee Good and Alex Pretti by federal agents in Minneapolis have significantly heightened tensions in the United States, acting as a national tipping point in a deeply divided political landscape. The following story from Carol Guzzi /ZUMA Press Wire. ICE agents wait outside New York's immigration court to arrest individuals after their hearings, often as people exit courtrooms, turning routine check-ins into deportation traps for migrants seeking asylum. Detentions lead to families being torn apart, causing immense trauma, as parents are suddenly gone, leaving children behind often without explanation or proper care. There is a vast political divide. Some participate in prayer walks and protests, decrying a lack of due process, claiming troubling parallels to fascism and authoritarianism. A woman screamed with indignation, "We angry. We all angry out here." Others applaud. The current administration has also moved to invalidate protections for many immigrants staying in the U.S. legally. These are some of their stories. Monica, Rosa and Christopher. "Take me, not him, they will kill him," screamed Monica, a distraught woman from Ecuador, as she and her children were pulled away from her husband Ruben as he was detained by ICE after his immigration court hearing at the Jacob Javits Federal Building in New York on September 25, 2025. She continued to plead with an officer and was violently thrown to the floor as her children wept. She was taken to a nearby hospital to be examined for head injury. The ICE officer was relieved of duties pending investigation, and then reinstated. Ruben was recently released from detention and the family reunited. He credits the diligence of his lawyers and his wife's relentless efforts for his release. Samara. Elevator doors close as a wife gives her husband a final look while ICE federal agents detain Joan Paul Olcivar de la Cruz, a migrant from Ecuador, married to Samara de la Cruz, a U.S. citizen, after they attended his immigration court hearing in New York on June 25, 2025. The distraught woman broke down in tears and screamed, "Fuck New York, fuck Donald Trump, fuck ICE," as she left the courthouse weeping. She was pregnant at the time of his detainment but had a miscarriage soon after, which she blames on the stress of his detention and poor conditions he is enduring while languishing at the Jackson Parish Correctional Center in Louisiana, she said. Franulis. Yonkwanaid was holding his 3-year-old son Emmanuel as ICE agents approached his at the doorway of his immigration court hearing at the Jacob Javits Federal Building in New York on September 18, 2025. They gave him a moment to go back in the waiting room to say goodbye to his wife Franulis and other son Yonefa, 8 years old, in a fancy blue suit. He wept. "Husbands are taken away in front of their children," said Franulis. Grace. A court observer assists as a migrant woman and her children from Ecuador weep after her husband was detained by ICE agents and federal officers after their immigration court hearings at the Jacob Javits Federal Building in New York on August 20, 2025. "Please help me, please help me. Take me too," she wept as he was led away. Later, a security guard breaks down in tears in a moment of tender humanity while witnessing their heartbreak. The family was inconsolable with despair. Security guards are tangled in the middle of ICE, migrants, observers and press as courthouse dynamics play out in this new normal in America. Sometimes it's the quiet moments that reach most deeply into the collective conscience of a nation.